They say the streets never forget. In the Chi Season 7 finale, the past finally caught up with everyone. Whether it was old secrets, broken promises, or blood debts, Episode 12 pulled no punches. It felt like a storm that had been building for seasons, and when it finally hit, nobody walked away clean. But did you catch everything? Let's break it down. The final episode of the Chi Season 7 opens like the calm before a storm. At first, things seem steady, almost peaceful, but that's just the surface. Underneath, every character is sitting on a ticking time bomb. The streets are tense, relationships are cracking, and choices made in the past are about to explode into the present. Asterisk, let's start with Emmett and Keisha. Their relationship has been on a rocky path all season. In episode 12, we see Emmett trying hard to hold on to what matters. He's balancing his loyalty to Keisha with the heavy pressure Douda has placed on him. Douda's been a dark cloud over Emmett's life for a while now, but in this episode, Emmett finally steps up. There's a moment where you see in Emmett's eyes he's done being controlled. He's no longer the kid trying to please everyone. Whether it costs him everything or not, he's ready to take a stand. Asterisk, meanwhile, Keisha is carrying her own emotional weight. She wants peace and stability, but she knows Emmett's world is anything but that. We see her wrestling with the fear that their love might not survive the chaos. And who could blame her? It's clear that Keisha loves Emmett, but love might not be enough when the bullets start flying. Asterisk, then there's Douda, the villain who's been lurking in the background or sometimes right in the center for years. In episode 12, his empire starts to fall apart. One by one, people around him begin to realize that power built on fear never lasts. He senses it too, and that makes him even more dangerous. He's like a wounded lion, angry, paranoid, and desperate to keep control. There's a chilling scene where he confronts Emmett, and for a moment, it feels like anything could happen. The camera lingers on Douda's face. There's no mercy there. Asterisk, Victor, on the other hand, is still trying to play both sides. He wants to help the community, he wants to protect his image, but he's surrounded by people who expect him to choose a side. His political dreams are in danger, and episode 12 shows him scrambling to keep everything from falling apart. But politics in the Chi is never clean. You either play dirty or get buried on by the end of the episode. Victor learns that the hard way. Asterisk, and then there's Papa, who's quietly been one of the most emotionally powerful characters this season. In this episode, we see him dealing with grief, with questions of faith, and with his own guilt. After losing someone close, he's not just searching for answers, he's trying to find his place in a world that keeps testing him. There's a heartbreaking scene where he finally breaks down in church. No words, just silence, tears, and raw pain. It's one of the most powerful moments of the finale. Asterisk, as for Jake and Jemma, their storyline in this episode is less dramatic, but no less important. They're growing up fast, and life keeps pulling them in different directions. Jake is trying to prove he can be his own man, while Jemma is figuring out what she wants beyond being someone's girlfriend. Their scenes are quieter but full of tension. You can feel that their relationship is at a crossroads. Asterisk, throughout the episode, there's this feeling that everyone is running out of time. Conversations are cut short. Plans fall apart, and by the time the last 15 minutes arrive, everything you thought was settled is thrown into chaos. Asterisk, that's the recap, but what really happened under the surface? In the next section, we'll dive deep into those final moments, the betrayals, the bullet holes, and the choices that changed everything. Asterisk, if you blinked during the last 10 minutes of episode 12, you might have missed something huge. This wasn't just a finale, it was a fallout. Every major move made in the final act had layers beneath it. So let's slow it down and take a closer look at what really happened and what it means. Asterisk, let's start with the scene that had everyone holding their breath. Douda's final confrontation. For seasons, he's been untouchable. He's made threats, ordered hits, ruined lives, and always walked away untouched. But in this episode, the game finally caught up with him. There's a moment where you can tell, even Douda feels it. The people around him, his crew, his allies, his enemies, they've changed. They're no longer afraid in the way they used to be. And Douda knows when fear fades, power slips away. Asterisk, then comes the setup. Rob and his crew, clearly tired of Douda's manipulation, make a bold move. What starts as a tense conversation ends in pure chaos. A gun is pulled, shots are fired, and we're left with a question. Is Douda dead? The camera doesn't confirm it clearly. We see the aftermath, the blood, the shock, but no full closure. And that's intentional. The Chi has always loved to leave us with a shadow of doubt. If Douda is gone, it's a huge shift, but if he's still alive, you can be sure he'll come back with a vengeance. Meanwhile, Emmett finally breaks the cycle. For too long, he's tried to juggle being a good man and surviving in a bad world, but this time, he draws a line. When Douda threatens his family, again it makes a decision. No more deals, no more fear. In the heat of everything, he chooses action. And it's not just about Douda anymore. It's about protecting what he loves. That moment, where he looks Douda in the eye and doesn't flinch, is Emmett's transformation. He's not the same man we met in Season 1. He's grown harder, smarter, and willing to fight for what's his. Now let's talk about Tiff and Rob, who were riding the edge of loyalty and betrayal all season. In episode 12, that edge becomes a cliff. Rob is caught in the middle between business and family, and Tiff sees it clearly. There's a conversation between them that feels like a quiet breakup, nothing loud or dramatic. Just the realization that they want different lives. Tiff is tired of the danger. She wants something real, something stable. And when Rob doubles down on his connection to Douda's world, it's clear their time is up. You can see it in her eyes. She's done playing games. This isn't just a relationship ending. It's Tiff choosing herself. Then there's the final cliffhanger scene, one that's already got fans theorizing all over social media. We see Victor standing on the steps of a community center, giving a short speech, but his face tells a different story. He's lost something. Maybe it's his belief that he could fix things without getting his hands dirty. Maybe it's the realization that the system he believed in was never built for people like him. Either way, the camera lingers on his expression, tired, angry, uncertain. It's not a celebration. It's a warning. What's coming next won't be easy. But the most haunting shot in the finale doesn't come from a gun or a speech. It comes from Papa, alone in a quiet church. No one else is there. No lights. Just him, and a flickering candle. He kneels down, praying, but it doesn't look like hope. It looks like surrender. This isn't the same Papa we knew, the jokester, the optimist, the believer. This is someone who's seen too much, and can't pretend anymore. The Chi doesn't usually give us neat endings, and Papa's scene proves that. Some losses don't bring lessons. They just leave silence. Put all of these moments together and you get a finale that doesn't just tie up stories, it reshapes them. Characters made choices they can't take back. Lines were crossed. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is the same as it was at the start of the season. If you've been watching the Chi closely this season, then you know nothing happens by accident. Every look, every line of dialogue, every background detail usually points to something deeper. And episode 12, the season finale, was packed with subtle clues and callbacks that built up to the explosive ending. Let's go through the ones that matter most. First up, Douda's red handkerchief. You probably saw it in multiple scenes, especially when tensions were high. At first glance, it's just a fashion choice. But look again. That same red cloth appeared in earlier seasons during moments when Douda made a move intimidating someone, making a threat, or settling a score. In episode 12, he's wearing it again during that final confrontation. It's a quiet signal. Douda knew things were going to get messy. He was ready for war. That detail alone foreshadows the bloodshed to come and maybe his downfall. Then there's Emmett's kitchen scene, near the middle of the episode. He's standing by the stove, cooking breakfast for Keisha and the kids. Nothing major seems to happen, but look closer at what he's wearing. A hoodie with the word legacy written across the chest. That's not just wardrobe. It's a quiet nod to his journey. Emmett spent the entire season trying to protect his legacy, his family, his business, his name. That simple hoodie choice underlines the inner battle he's fighting. And by the end of the episode, he decides that legacy is worth more than fear. Now, let's talk about Papa's prayer specifically, the location. He's not at his usual church. If you look closely, the pews are older, the walls worn down, and the altar smaller. That's because he's at an old, abandoned neighborhood chapel, a place we haven't seen since season 2, when his father took him there as a child. This is deep symbolism. Papa's returning to a place that once gave him comfort, now seeking answers after everything he's lost. The show doesn't spell this out, but longtime fans will remember that space. It's a callback to Papa's roots, and his inner conflict between faith and the harsh world around him. Another major hidden thread. Jemma's old journal. It appears briefly, almost like a prop, during a scene in Jake's apartment. She sets it on the table and says nothing about it. But here's the catch. That same journal was shown back in season 5, when she was working through her breakup with Kevin. It represents her truth, her unspoken thoughts, her goals, her fears. The fact that she's writing in it again now suggests she's thinking about her future. Possibly without Jake. It's a small moment with big meaning. Jemma is evolving, and she might be preparing to step into a new chapter, even if it means walking away from her current one. Asterisk, the writers also slipped in a musical clue, something that she is famous for. During the scene where Rob walks out on Tiff, there's a track playing quietly in the background. The song is used to be by Aaron Ray. The lyrics talk about change, about becoming someone new, and about letting go of old versions of yourself. That's not random. It's perfectly timed with Tiff's emotional shift. She's saying goodbye to who she was, to who Rob thought she'd always be. The music reinforces that silently, without needing to be front and center. Asterisk, one more blink and clue. Victor's campaign posters. In the final scene, there's a shot of a campaign banner flapping behind him. But the name on the poster, it's not Victor. It says Wallace, his real last name, not the polished name he's been using. That switch is symbolic. By using his full name again, the writers are telling us that Victor is dropping the mask. He's tired of the game. He wants to lead on his terms now, not as a brand but as a real person. It's a subtle sign that he's going to be more honest moving forward. Asterisk, and finally, let's talk about the lighting choices in the last 10 minutes. Notice how the world literally gets darker. As Douda's empire crumbles, the lighting in his scenes goes from warm to cold, from full light to deep shadow. Emmett's scenes, on the other hand, start in dim rooms but end in brighter spaces. It's a visual hint. Power is shifting. Darkness is losing. And maybe, just maybe, hope is creeping back in. Asterisk, these hidden details, symbols, and Easter eggs show just how much thought the writers put into this finale. Nothing is random. Everything has a purpose. It's why the Chai continues to connect so deeply with its audience, not just for what's said, but for what's shown quietly in the background. Asterisk, in the next section, we'll go even deeper, breaking down the larger meaning of the finale. What do these storylines say about power, love, and survival? And was this really a good ending? Or just a pause before more chaos? By the time the credits roll on episode 12, it's clear that this wasn't just a season finale, it was a message. Every character decision, every betrayal, every quiet moment of pain, it all adds up to something bigger than just another episode. The show is telling us something about survival, about power, and about what it really costs to break the cycle. Let's unpack that. Asterisk, let's start with Emmett, because in many ways, his story is the emotional heart of this finale. From season 1, we've watched him go from a teenage hustler to a man trying to build a real life. But the truth is, Emmett's growth has always come at a price. His decision to finally stand up to Douda isn't just about courage, it's about clarity. He realizes that there's no future with Douda still holding strings in his life. And he also realizes something even deeper, that being a good man isn't just about taking care of your family. It's about protecting them from the world you used to be part of. Asterisk, that shift is huge. Emmett's storyline tells us that you can't serve two masters. You can't build something real while still playing by street rules. His journey is about cutting ties with the past, even if it's dangerous. Even if it means losing everything. And the moment he makes that choice, the Chi is showing us that real growth only happens when you finally stop running and start standing firm. Asterisk, Keisha, meanwhile, represents emotional survival. Her arc this season has been quieter, but powerful. After everything she's been through, kidnapping, trauma, rebuilding her life, she's now in a place where she wants stability. In the finale, you see her eyes searching Emmett's face, not just for love, but for security. She's asking, without words, can I trust this life? Can I trust you to keep us safe? That's not an easy question, and her hesitance in the final scenes isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. She knows what's at stake. Her character reminds us that healing is ongoing, and that love alone isn't always enough to stay. Asterisk, now take a look at Victor. His story this season was about duality, politician versus protector, image versus truth. In episode 12, when everything begins to collapse around him, he's forced to face the cost of trying to play both sides. You can't run for office while keeping ties to the street. You can't promise the people change while staying quiet about the rot underneath. His final expression, bitter, tired. Almost Broken tells us that the system he thought he could change might be changing him instead. Victor's arc speaks to a core theme of the Chi, the illusion of control. Everyone wants to believe they can balance it, career, community, loyalty, love, but the show keeps reminding us that real leadership means letting go of your image. If Victor returns next season, he'll likely be a very different man, one who's either ready to lead for real or ready to burn everything down. And then there's Douda, whose downfall is a lesson in what happens when power is built on fear. All season long, Douda has used manipulation, intimidation, and silence to keep people under his thumb. But this finale shows us the truth. Fear doesn't last. Once people stop being afraid, your empire crumbles fast. His possible disappearance isn't just a plot twist. It's a symbol of a larger shift in the world of the Chi. The streets are changing, the old kings are falling, and something new is coming, whether better or worse. We'll have to wait and see. Even Papa's story holds a heavy message. His breakdown in the church isn't just grief, it's spiritual disillusionment. Papa has always been the soul of the show, the moral compass. But in this finale, we see that even the strongest faith can crack under enough weight. He's not turning away from God, but he's definitely questioning the idea that everything happens for a reason. That silence in the chapel isn't peace, it's loss. And the Chi doesn't clean it up for us. It leaves him there, alone, and lets us sit in that pain with him. So what does it all mean? This ending isn't just about plot, it's about themes. The writers are making a statement. Growth is painful. Power built on lies will fall. You can't outrun your past unless you face it. And sometimes choosing peace means walking away from people you love. The characters we've followed for 7 seasons aren't just surviving anymore, they're choosing who they want to be. And that choice isn't easy. Not in Southside. Not in a city where one wrong move can cost you everything. But still, there's hope. Quiet hope. In defiance. In Keisha's strength. In